BMW X1. What's it on about? It's chunky, like an off-roader, but is available with just two-wheel drive. It only comes with diesel engines, but it's supposed to be elegant and sporty. And while it's the cheapest BMW crossover on sale, it's supposed to be trend-setting and modern. So who's it actually been made for? To find out, I'm going to indulge in a spot of role play. I'll assume the identities of some potential X1 buyers and see which ones, if any, it suits. First up, School Run Mum. Hello, I'm School Run Mum, and all I'm interested in is image and space. And I'm not impressed. This looks gawky, and it looks awkward, and it looks nowhere near as impressive as the X5s driven by the other mums. If you ask me, it needs a good meal. And School Run Mum isn't impressed with the space either. While it shares the same chassis as a 3 Series Touring, the X1's body is narrower and shorter, meaning the 420-litre boot is slightly smaller and the back seat's cramped. Apparently it's nearly 6 inches higher than a normal car, but you still have to crouch down to put anything on the back seats, and there isn't any legroom at all. Overall, it's too cramped and it's too ugly. Sorry. So, the X1 isn't a car for the School Run Mum. If looks and practicality aren't going to make people buy it, perhaps the driving experience will. Time to adopt the role of crossover fan and keen driver, Bluetooth Barry. Hello, I'm Bluetooth Barry. I spend most of my time driving my carpet samples around the country, so I can really appreciate a car's chassis. This is the xDrive 23D, which means it's got 204 brake horsepower and 4-wheel drive. And on first impressions, I can already tell that it's lots faster than my Volkswagen Tiguan, and, if I'm honest, feels a little sporty around the corners. It'll get from 0 to 62 miles an hour in 7.3 seconds, a couple of seconds quicker than Barry's Tiguan, and it'll top out at 127 miles an hour. But when you make the most of the speed, it gets quite noisy and crashy. It's not the massive step up I expected, but ultimately it is better than my Tiguan. If I could save up enough carpet selling bonuses, I'd be very tempted. Talk of saving money brings us on to our upwardly mobile, aggressively aspirational Mark Spencer. He's been studying the market for a trendy new car on which to spend his recently matured post office savings account. Hello, I'm Mark Spencer. I can only just about afford the fashionable crossover I want, so for me, every penny counts. I want to spend my savings on something that makes me feel posh. And this interior isn't it, unfortunately. All the main buttons are fine, but there are too many details and materials that aren't quite right for a BMW, especially as this one costs £30,000. Even the cheapest one costs 23 grand, and to be honest, I'm not going to pay that for a car that doesn't make me feel all sexy and expensive. So the X1's interior doesn't have the depth of quality you'd expect. Perhaps its charm lies elsewhere. Time to meet our final potential buyer, rural hobnob and keen recycler, Lady Elizabeth Dane Bowers. Hello, I'm Elizabeth Dane Bowers. Unlike those city folk who have off-roaders just to boost their image, I absolutely need something tall and chunky to help me see over the hedges and get through the snow. And it has to be eco-friendly. Out here in the sticks, this feels out of its depth. It's not tall enough to see over anything bushy, and to be honest, it's slipping and sliding far more than my Land Rover Freelander would, which isn't inspiring my posh confidence. It is, however, good on the fuel, because even this one, the most polluting X1 there is, does 50 miles to the gallon and only emits 150 grams of CO2 per kilometre. So, while I'm tempted to like it for its green credentials, it's not tough enough for me. It can't hack it in the country. So what have our characters taught us about the BMW X1? Well, the X1 isn't particularly spacious or smart, doesn't offer good value, has a disappointing interior, is quite hard and noisy, but goes round corners well and is good on fuel. So it turns out the BMW X1 is made for people called Barry, who like the image of a crossover, but don't want to drive anything too tall and wobbly. BMW had better hope there's a lot of Barrys about, because the rest of us can quite clearly see that we're best off with a 3 Series Touring, or a Peugeot 3008, or a Volkswagen Tiguan, or a Skoda Yeti. See you later, Barry. Here's a quick plug for the 2010 Autosport International Show, this January at the NEC in Birmingham. All the biggest names in motorsport, including F1 champ Jenson Button, will be there, as well as the world's most incredible performance cars, rally cars and Formula 1 cars. And Fifth Gear will be there as well, performing displays at the Live Action Arena. So come along and see us on January the 16th and 17th at the NEC in Birmingham.